Thank you, Yes, we're going to record this, by the way. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. The thing always, I'm like, oh, there's a big thing on my screen. I am really excited about this panel this evening. This is a unique panel about a unique thing that we are doing here in District 25. This is our first year to do this incentive. And so it's really cool to just be at the forefront of a new adventure and a new activity. So what we're going to do this evening is we're going to have a panel on the Nemelita Networking 9 incentive, which is one that was created this year. The idea behind it is to help people network within the district. We all know that there's a lot of Zoom burnout and COVID burnout and energy struggles in the district right now. So as the district leadership, we wanted to create an incentive that would help encourage people to visit and share energy and share knowledge and support each other. And that's really where the brainstorming behind this particular incentive came along. So what we've put together this panel this evening is for the first 5 people who have actually completed the entire requirements, all of the requirements to meet the incentive and have therefore officially earned it. They will get their award, a district focus pin, at the awards banquet. It is the only way you can get a district focus pin without being in district service. So it is very, very cool. So what I'd like to do first is introduce myself and the panel, and then we will go into our Q&A session. So I am Emily Murray. I am District 25 Club Growth Director, in case you haven't met me or heard me or seen me somewhere yet. And my job this year is to try to build new clubs, but also to support all of our clubs in the district in helping to achieve excellence. So it's really important to me that specifically that we are doing things to help each other learn and grow. Now we're going to go through our panelists. So we do have 5 panelists this evening. We have Celeste, Leela, Sally, Chuck, and Ernestina in no particular order. So I'm going to now ask each of them to briefly introduce themselves. Chuck, would you like to introduce yourself first, please?
Sure. I've been a Toastmaster since 2009 here in District 25, and I'm commonly known as a Toast Monster in District 25. That moniker was given to me a long time ago. I'm in 3 clubs right now, 1 semi-advanced, 1 advanced, and 1 weekly, and I'm also a member of a 100% online club basically out of Canada. I've served in every club role, club officer role. I've also been in district service and international service as part of a task force that gave information to the board of directors for the 100% online clubs to be chartered in 2016. And I am currently the webmaster of District 25. I am a DTM 4 times over. Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck. Ernestina, would you please introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you very much. I hate following Chuck. I don't quite have his credentials, but my name is Ernestina Pinones, no middle initial. I belong to 2 clubs. I've only been a DTM twice under the old traditional program. I've been every officer position except treasurer. I started out as a sergeant at arms, but my club did not enter me, so I don't get credit for that. So I'll have to do that at some point. And I am a volunteer person anyway. It's in my nature. So Toastmasters is a perfect fit for me and meet a lot of wonderful people. And what else can I say? Like I said, I can't follow Chuck.
It's okay.
Thank you.
It's not a competition where it's okay. Sally, will you tell us a little about yourself, please?
Yes, thank you, Emily. Hello, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My name is Sally Jett. I am representing San Angelo Toastmasters this evening. But because of this Nemelita incentive, I am now also a member of 2 other clubs in addition to San Angelo Toastmasters. I am a recent member of Master Evaluators out of Houston and Community Impact out of Philadelphia. Both are online clubs for now, and that has been a treat to have that experience. In San Angelo Toastmasters, is where I started my journey, and In the 18 months that I've been a member, I have held 3 officer positions, the secretary position, treasurer position, and vice president public relations. The VPPR is my favorite out of all of those 3 so far. And because of that role, that led me to want to complete this incentive. And I am just so excited to be here tonight with my fellow awardees. And that's my show.
That's you in a nutshell. Fair enough. Fantastic, Sally. I'm glad that you were inspired to get out and stretch your wings. That's really wonderful. Leela, will you please introduce yourself?
Good evening, all. My name is Leela, and I'm currently serving as VP Education at NST Toastmasters Club. I joined Toastmaster in July 2020, and after 15 months of my Toastmasters journey, Nemelita 9 Network Award, this incentive program prompted me to visit other clubs. So I visited other 9 clubs, and I gained a lot of knowledge and skills, so much things. And I'm here today to share my experience. Back to you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Leela. And last but definitely not least, Celeste, will you please introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Celeste Castro. I'm in 4 clubs by mistake. I'm in Flagship Speakers, AA Flying Toaster, Fort Worth Management, and Circle of Excellency. I've done all the roles. I've been judge, chief judge, contest chair, and I volunteered in TLI, and anywhere that somebody says, hey, can you help? I'm there. I mentored my clubs a lot, and I coach them as well. And I'm here to say that I did these 9 clubs, and I've done more, but they only wanted 9. And I got myself into trouble by doing that because they all want me to be a member, and I can't. But at least I'm there for them when they need me. Thank you.
Thank you, Celeste. Thank you very much. So I forgot to say where we got the name Nemelita Networking 9, because it's a weird name, and I know that. So let's go ahead and hit that one out. I will answer the very first question. So for those of you who are not familiar, the trio, the top 3 positions in District 25 are Nifa, Marquita, and Emily. And if you mishmash those together, you get Nemelita. And so we started there, and we wanted to build an incentive from there, and we wanted to make something that was about networking and support and community. And so we had Nemelita, and we had networking, and we thought alliteration was lovely, so we went with 9, which was a high goal but an achievable goal. We wanted to make sure that people were really pushing themselves, but not so hard that people looked at it and went, oh, I can't visit 27 clubs. 9 isn't even 2 whole hands. It's easy. So that is where we came up with the name for this. So I just wanted to answer that one to begin with, because I know a lot of people are like, I don't understand what this name is about. So let's start there. My very first question for our panelists this evening is, without going into too much detail, because I know you had to visit 9 clubs, can you tell us what clubs you visited and a little about the roles that you took at those clubs? Celeste, will you start with this, please?
Sure. I visited Once Upon a Time, and that was an exciting visit because they read books, and they read books that I never understood, but I enjoyed them, and I was Joyce's evaluator. I visited Roanoke, Texas Toastmaster, and I was their timer and vote counter. I visited Centix Clearly Speaking Toastmaster, and I did a speech for them. I visited 629, and I was their listener. I visited Little M Toastmaster, and I was Lori McKee speech evaluator. I visited Salvi Sayers, and I evaluated Les. I visited Alliance Network, and I was judge for their club contest. I visited Heart of Texas Bridge, and I was evaluating, I can't pronounce her name, or his name, Gwendolyn Wibb. I know I said it wrong. Anyway, I visit Texas Talkers Toastmaster, and I judged for their club contest. And those are my 9.
Nicely done. Thank you very much. Sally, how about you? Who did you visit and what roles did you take?
I'm so glad that I get a chance to do my shout outs, because these 9 clubs were kind enough to take me in, whether it was a planned visit or whether it was a last minute, hey, can you fill this role visit? So I'm going to give my shout outs to Nissan Toastmasters. I was a speaker for them. Arlington Toastmasters. I was the quiz master. That was my favorite role. Abilene Toastmasters 1071. I was the general evaluator. Tarrant County Toastmasters. I was the grammarian. Texas Stars Toastmasters out of Temple, Texas. They are not in D25, but they are good friends now. I was the counter for them. Big T Toastmasters, also in Temple, Texas. I was the speech evaluator for them. Centex Clearly Speaking. I was the timer that evening. Early Birds Toastmasters, I was the grammarian. And Heart of Texas Bridge Gappers, my friends in Waco, I was the speech evaluator for them. Thank
And
you.
you did Waco, Waco, Waco. Look at you. All right. I love, one of the nicest things about this incentive is the virtual environment. This is something we can take advantage of this incentive because of the virtual environment. So that's really putting something to work for us that a lot of people have really struggled with. And I think that's fantastic. Following up along those lines, moving into my next question, let's talk about how long did it take you to do these incentives? How long did it take you to find all the clubs and take all the roles and get it done? Obviously, we're in February now, so it took less than 7 months, not 8, less than 8 months. But how long really did it take you? Chuck, can you talk to us about that?
Well, I'm in a unique position because I work Toastmasters full time, so I did it all in 1 month. I mean, literally within a 30-day period, I did it in 1 month, including visiting Australia without having John Travolta fly me over there. So I was just very, when Brandy Weasley was on Facebook, she said, hey, we need some people here. And I said, okay, that started out my journey. So Brandy started out my journey. I said, well, okay. And then Gary Lee, of course, Gary Lee Webb, for those of you who don't know, is very insistent. And I ended up doing like 4 of the Waco clubs. So it took me just right at a month.
Wow, I was not expecting to hear that. That's really impressive. I will tell you, I know that the Waco clubs have really seen the benefit for having people from Nemelita come into their clubs. They are really leading the way on inviting people in and receiving. So that's fantastic. Leela, how long did it take you to complete these incentives and how did you go about doing that?
It took me about 2 months. Positive, when D25 leadership and DTM, I would like to mention name here, DTM, Ernestina Pinion, she helped me, encouraged me a lot. Then Club Growth Director, Emily, you also helped and encouraged me a lot. Then I also got tremendous help from Area 61 Director, Jim Chappell, and Division Director, Bindu Chinta, and as well as from other Toastmasters Club officers. Then the Nemelita Networking 9 incentive, that prompted me to visit other clubs and to see how they run their meetings and how the club officer, the Toastmasters, they act in their meeting. That was the one main purpose that I really wanted to see, to observe in other clubs. Then it took me about a week to think, plan, and set a goal. Then I set my goal to visit 1 club every week. Then started visiting club in December 5th. Yeah, I guess, yeah, in December 5th. Then I visited all 9 clubs by February 3rd or 6th, I guess.
Wow. All right. It's always good to have a plan of attack. I'm more of a random person. Oh, yeah, sure. Ernestina, can you tell us about you? How long did it take you to complete it and how did you go about doing that?
Oh, it was about 3 months. And I just happened to be on the D25 bulletin board and I saw contest coming up and set new incentive contest. So I looked it up. It wasn't in the D25 page yet. And I go, when is it coming? What's happening? When are they going to put it up? And I thought, okay, because I had already decided I was going to take advantage of being virtual where I don't have to go out. I can just do it through the computer. And I had already planned to visit a couple of clubs. So when I finally saw it come up, I said, ooh, and you know what? Chuck's name wasn't on there. I said, yes. So my chance, my one and only chance, let me try. So I kept going. It was pretty good till about the end of September. I was some kind of sickness, and so I was out for about 2 or 3 weeks. So I was delayed, and guess what? Guess who passed me? Just went right by me. Thank you, Chuck. So that was just my incentive that I saw it on there, and I go, hey, I'm going to do this anyway. Why not? And of course, as Toastmasters, we know that meeting new people is just wonderful. And I don't care if you were a planned visitor or not. They are so happy to see you. Oh, you're there. Can you take a roll? Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. So, and you know, somebody eager to see me. I love it. So a chance to socialize.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. Let me move into our next question here. This one is more personal and less, I guess, data. What were the benefits? What were the personal benefits for you? How did completing the incentive benefit you specifically? How did you learn? How did you grow? What did you get out of this? We're going to start here with Leela again.
Yeah, that's a really good question. How did completing this incentive benefited to me personally and professionally? Let me tell you, delivering a speech or speaking in front of unfamiliar faces to new audiences was really difficult or scary and uncomfortable to me until I visited 9 different clubs. And today, now, I'm more confident than ever to speak in front of unfamiliar audience or to give a speech to new audiences. That's one of the greatest benefit to me. On top of that, now I can take or I can serve any club roles. I can conduct the club meetings in a better way. I can also mentor or guide to my fellow officers, fellow Toastmasters, whatever their goal is to achieve. And next thing, I now have better networking with other club officers, D25 leaderships, such as I do have connection with all area directors, division directors, club growth director, other DTMs, and also district director, you name it. So I currently I have 37 names that I'm frequently contacting with them, chatting with them. So, because the networking is always a good thing. Without networking, you cannot move forward. So it is very important to take your goal to the next level. And the last thing, I have seen there are thousands of great Toastmasters, but only a few Toastmasters, they ever reach to their destination. Why? Because they are really good at networking. That's the main reason. So completing or visiting 9 different clubs, I'm now more confident in public speaking, and I also do have better networking. Back to you.
Fantastic. That's fantastic. So as Nifa said in the comments there, Leela understood the assignment. It wasn't an assignment, but that was the idea behind the whole thing. So he nailed that one and blew it out of the park. But there's other ways and other things. So I'm curious to see if other people had the same experience or got different benefits out of it. Sally, do you want to talk to us a little bit?
Yes, thank you. One of the personal goals that I had for joining Toastmasters was to work on my impromptu speaking. So thank you for that wonderful practice for tonight anyway. And when I joined in the summer of 2020, in the middle of the pandemic, I realized that I had been out of practice in meeting people, even virtually and especially in person. So when I saw this incentive in the next summer come around, I knew that I needed to do this for myself, to take myself out of the comfort zone, to be in a room, to enter a room, even a virtual room, as the new person is extremely scary for me. And I think what Leela was saying was the same thing in that respect, because I fight with anxiety most of the time, but this particular thing really just brings on all of that anxiety. And I found the more that I did go into those rooms, virtual rooms as it were, the easier it got. And so I'm very thankful for that. To the end result, that even after I completed the incentive for the Nemelita Award, it kind of sparked a personal incentive for me to continue visiting clubs. I think I'm up to about 50 club meetings that I have visited, aside from my home clubs, including clubs in London, in Philadelphia, in California. And I loved being able to see not just the club culture that's across the United States clubs, but also the culture and the club cultures that are worldwide. And that was exciting for me to be able to experience. I loved the fun ideas that I was able to bring back home and for us to use those ideas. And I loved meeting all the people that I was able to meet and making those a point of contact people for each club that I visited.
Well, you took this one and ran with it. 50 clubs because whoop, somebody lit a fire under you. Congratulations. That's fantastic. And it is, I said it earlier, but it's really nice to have a reason and a way to take advantage of the virtual environment. Chuck also did that, but in a different reason. Last year, he toured around Richard Peck and visited something like 200 clubs, but that's a different story. That's also a fascinating story, but we're not, sorry. So, but speaking of Chuck, would you tell us how this benefited you as a long-term experienced Toastmaster with 4 DTMs?
Well, first off, I love the virtual environment. In fact, I've been in the virtual Toastmaster environment since 2016. But visiting all the clubs, you learn so much how they conduct their meetings, and you can improve your own club's meeting. You know, because some clubs do something different, and you go, "Ooh, that's pretty neat." And I believe it was one of the past international directors said it's okay to steal in Toastmasters and take it back to your club. And that's one of the things. And it was also, I'm very tied to Waco since I was their division director down there. And I loved getting back and seeing a lot of the Waco people that I had not connected with in a long time. Plus, getting to meet the San Angelo people and the Fearless people and the ones that I do not go to quite a bit, like Tip Top. It was just really great to connect with everybody and see their faces again and just talk to them. So that's really, it was just a very heartwarming experience to be able to come in and help fill a role and contribute to the club's successful meeting, and see, and if guests were there especially, to have the meeting kind of beefed up a little bit with more people in it.
I do know that there is a club out there that, because they have had quite a few Nemelita people visit, it's brought a lot of energy into their club, and they have managed to add 4 new members. That are 4 non-Toastmasters, new members, yes, because of the energy and refreshment and revamping they've gotten through those visitations, which is fantastic. So leading from what Chuck said and that story there, let's talk about what the benefit has been for your club that you've been out there doing these things. Celeste, can you tell us a little bit about how this has all benefited your club?
Well, I was trying to get my club to do open house, and they don't want to because they want to do it in person. So I told them, come on, I'll go visit and I'll tell you how each club does their open house. And when I told them it's just like a normal meeting, even though it's not in person, they looked at me and says, no way. And I say, yes, you could do an open house. And you don't even have to say that it's a meeting. You just say it's an open house and you bring in friends. So yeah, I learned a lot in going to all these clubs and visiting and seeing how they did their open house. And that really inspired me to help my club to get them started in doing the same. Because it looks like we're going to have another year with this Zoom thing.
Yeah, it does look like that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Thank you, Celeste. Ernestina, how did this benefit your clubs?
Okay, I'm a member of 629 Toastmasters, and I think we're kind of burned out. I didn't really have people that wanted to do it because they're working, and it just did not fit into their schedule. They said, I would love to do that, but thank goodness you're doing it. I said, okay. Okay. And I just joined +2 Toastmasters, and they're energetic. So they're pumping me up and getting me motivated again. And I think the benefit that I'm getting from this is, as I'm visiting clubs, that they're maybe catching a little bit of what I'm doing. And maybe they go, and the funny thing is, I'll mention the Nemelita and they go, what's that? I said, it's one of the incentives. Have you seen it? No. Where is it? I said, well, D25 website. Have you seen the incentives? Okay, I'm just going to send you the link. And then I make a copy of it, of the incentives, so they can see the link. Plus they see it automatically. They don't have to do any further than open that little email and they'll see it. And especially I said, oh, and you have to read Hot Topics. Joyce Trimble is the editor. And if your officers know and have read Hot Topics, you may get a little something. So be looking for that. So I'm giving just a little, it's just like you can't give them the full thing. Your immediate family is not going to do it, but your nephews, nieces, cousins, they may benefit.
Great, thank you, Ernestina. It is interesting to me that you still go visit people and you say, well, the Nemelita Networking 9, and people go, I don't know what that is. I'm like, we've put it everywhere for you. What do you do? Where are you looking for things then? But I don't know. I'm sure all of you read your Hot Topics this month, but Leela wrote a very lovely article about his experiences with the Nemelita Networking 9. There was a write-up for this panel. And then also Gary Lee Webb with Heart of Texas Ridge Gappers wrote a nice article about the benefits that his club had received from having people come and visit. So it was a really nice focus this month. At this time, I'd like to open up our Q&A session for questions from people who are in the audience. Does anybody here have a question you'd like to ask, either to a couple of people or a specific person? Hilda.
My question is, when I tried to attend a different meeting, a different club, they already had all their roles filled out. I don't know if certain clubs are booked a month in advance. Do you have to just keep coming back to them and saying, well, the next opening, include me in? What do you think?
Chuck, what do you think?
Yeah, especially the weekly clubs, a lot of those clubs do book out a month to 6 weeks and they have their roles filled, but sometimes a role drops out and you can fill in at the very end. That's the way it was. I was in Australia for the Swinburne meeting, which was 10 o'clock at night here. And all of a sudden they had an evaluator drop out, or was it Grammarian? And she said, hey, do you want to fill this up? And I said, sure. And I said, throw me into the agenda real quick so I can get credit for this. But yeah, I would reach out to go attend the meeting and, find out who the VPE is there at the meeting and let them know that you would like to fill a role in an upcoming meeting. Of course, you can't say, hey, I want to fill a role. I mean, the roles go to the members, but let them know you're interested in visiting and you'd like to fill a role if a role opens up.
Thank you, Chuck. Sally, do you have anything else you want to add to that?
Yes, how I was able to get into the meetings for these clubs was I usually, like Chuck said, I reached out to the VPE first. Even before visiting the first time, even before considering visiting, I always reached out to their VPE. Some of the VPEs in the early stages of this incentive weren't aware of the Nemelita. So I was basically explaining to them what the Nemelita was, included the link to the incentive page on the D25 website, just so that they could see what this was all about with their own eyes. And then I just offered to them, I would love to come and visit your meeting. I would love to see how you run your meetings. And if you need any help in any of the roles, I would love to fill that role for you as part of the D25 incentive. And usually when I wrote out that email in that way, in that spirit, I usually got a very positive response so that my time was being used to the best that it could be used. So I wasn't visiting clubs 3 weeks in a row in order to get the role the following fourth week or whatever, especially if they have scheduled speakers and a rotation of roles that is already in an Excel program type deal where they already have that mapped out week to week. So that initial email to the VPE is one of the biggest things that worked for me.
Thank you. Excellent. Phyllis, what is your question?
Oh, thank you, Emily. I wanted to know, is there a limit to the role that you can take? Because in the beginning, I thought it was just the general roles, the important roles, but does all of them count?
Almost. It has to go on the agenda, which means that table topic speaker and guest do not count.
Okay.
Guest is not really a role, but you need to have some sort of way to verify that you participated. And so the best way to do that is to be on the agenda.
Okay. And then I have one more question.
Go for it.
Is it any club outside of your home club?
Leela, you want to answer that one?
Yes, definitely. First, I would suggest you visit your area clubs. For example, I visited my own area clubs, so under Area 61 clubs. And then you try to visit other clubs. And on top of that, I always, what I did, I sent a message or email to BPE, and I also copied to the club president as well as to the area director. And I just request them, I would like to visit your club for this reason, and I would like to serve or take any roles. So please let me know when your club has this role available. So that way you can visit any clubs, but I would like to suggest to visit your own clubs under your area. Back to you.
The only hard and fast rule, Phyllis, is any club that's not a club you're already a member of, 7 of the 9 have to be in District 25. The other 2, go to Australia, go to London, go to Houston, however you want to do it. Thank you. Divya?
So my question is, does all the roles should be different roles? Do we have to do 9 different roles, or could we repeat some of the roles?
Celeste, do you want to answer that one?
I did not repeat the roles. I did different roles. So it really depends on what the club really needs. And unexpectedly, when people say they're going to do a role and they don't make it, then they give you that role. So you don't have to do the same role all the time. You can do different roles.
Yeah, but is it okay to repeat a role among?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
To get the incentive. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, yes, you can repeat this because I evaluated for people and I was a judge for 2 clubs. So yes, you can repeat.
Okay, sounds good. And one more question, is there any way we can see when each club is meeting other than going to each club website? Is there any way to see that when are they meeting, what time? Is there any easy way for that?
Oh,
No.
I would go to D25, find a club, and that's how I did my search.
Yeah, they're all listed there, but you do have to still visit all of their websites, but all the websites are there. So at least you don't have to search all over for them.
Yes, I'm in the process of finding which club is meeting at what time, but I have to go to each club and see and go to their website and check the times and make a list, okay, which works for me. So it's any easy way, that's what I'm looking for.
Hey, Emily, real quick, I posted this, but watch the Facebook bulletin board. They're posting, clubs are posting there all the time. Hey, I need a speaker. I need an evaluator. I need a timer. So watch that bulletin board and you'll get tips about what clubs are needing what.
And
when.
they are also specifically, they're saying, we need a timer. Are you working on your Nemelita?
Exactly.
So clubs are very much aware that this is out there for you and they want to give you these opportunities. It does have to be 9 different clubs. You can't go to the same club and do 9 different roles. You can't, it has to be 9 different clubs, but you can repeat the roles. And just to refresh what we got there. Okay, any other questions? What's another question that you guys have?
Oh, if I can interrupt, Emily,
Sure.
on looking for clubs, when we have that directory of clubs, if they pull up that website, you can usually see where the clubs are. I'm not sure what the format is in there, but sometimes you can tell if they're a morning club, corporate club, and it's easier to click on that D25, the list of clubs, because you can go to one, it's not the one you want, go to the next one, instead of starting the whole process over. So that could be a quick way for you to just take 5 minutes, go through there, pick 4 or 5 clubs, and then move on.
So Ernestina and Chuck and Celeste mostly use Find a Club to find their clubs, mostly. Sally and Leela, did you guys do the same thing to find clubs, or did you do it in a different way?
Yeah, I would like to add one more thing. So you can also reach out to your area director, because your area director has the list of clubs, and your area director also has when and how they meet. They have all the contact information. So your area director is can be your resource. Yes,
Sally, what about
thank you.
anything new?
Because I was calendaring with all of the things and with our family schedules and every person in our household having a different color in our calendar for color coding purposes, I needed to start my search with days that were available for me. And that's an easy search to do, whether it's on D25 or the Toastmasters.org website as well. And if you're looking for a club in Texas, if you're looking for a club in D25, and you need a certain day, if you need an all virtual club, if you need a hybrid club, those you can refine your search, especially on the Toastmasters website, by telling them what days you're available. And that's how I had to do my first initial search when I was trying to reach out to clubs. So I needed to do it that way for availability reasons.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody else have a question from the floor?
So Emily, regarding the same thing what Sally was sharing, I would like to know how exactly to do it. Maybe if someone else can help me after this meeting, how to exactly narrow it down to find the time that really helps you to find the club that suits your needs and the time.
I would say I would recommend connecting with Sally or Chuck. Because
Yes, I will.
if one of you is comfortable to direct message Divya with your contact information so that you can work with her, that'd be brilliant. Brandy, your hand is up.
Hey, my hand is up. I have a question. So we're talking about visiting the clubs, and I echo everything everyone has said. I didn't get to do. Chuck is so fast. I'm at 6. I'm going to be Chuck when I grow up. But my question is, we have a lot of contests going on now. So area and division, and can my participation in a contest role also count towards the incentive?
As long as you're on the agenda. So if you're a judge, it doesn't count because you have to be on the list.
Right. But if I'm filling in as a ballot counter or as a timer or as a test speaker, then that's something. Awesome.
We know that 9 is a lot, so we are trying to make it feasible. We're not trying to put too many rules on it. It's already a lot. So we're not trying to make it impossible. It would be quite a different incentive if it was 9 different clubs and 9 different roles, and you had to do one on Monday, one on Tuesday, one on Wednesday. It would be quite a lot different incentive and would be much, much harder, I think. So we want this to be an encouraging and positive and doable kind of thing. Brandy, do you have another question? Because your hand is still up. Oh, no, she's done.
Just like to raise my hand. I am
fair enough.
Sorry.
Fair enough.
Here we go.
Fair enough. Anyone else? I love all the questions that we have.
I did have
Okay,
one
I
comment.
wanted to, I'm sorry, Ernestina?
I did have one comment that I am not that computer literate. I can use the keyboard, but navigating through the computer, it's hard for me. So if somebody out there doesn't feel like they can visit 9 clubs because they don't have computer skill, then you ought to just try it out and see, because there's a way to work around it. And the club, they can help you. And as long as you can get on Zoom somehow, they will help you through it. And even putting the information online, I got a lot of help from the district, where there were 3 or 4 people helping me put it online because I could not enter my results. And so they bent over backwards to help me out. So I really appreciated all the help. So don't be
Fantastic.
afraid.
I mean, everything we do in Toastmasters is about growing. So it's just another growing opportunity, right, Ernestina? Let's
Yes,
figure
ma'am.
out how to use this computer and Zoom and whatnot. I wanted to circle back to something that Leela talked about earlier, in that he used this opportunity to really expand his network. And I wanted to hear from you guys how you also were able to use this and how it impacted your network. Celeste, you want to talk about that for a moment for me?
I'm like Ernestina. I got this laptop and it's really hard to deal with. And then I got my other computer, which I do understand. So I'm in 2 separate things, but the laptop has my vision where I can see you and you can hear me. So in doing this, it helped me a lot because I offered to be chief judge and I didn't know how to share screen. So they helped me in sharing it, but I still have problems because I'm not good at this. But I'm learning, and this is a great way to learn to help you use Zoom and be an expert. Not quite great an expert, but at least you know how to defend yourself and use it as well as anything else. But yes, that's how it helped me in growing on my network.
I love it, to defend yourself. That's hilarious. And Chuck, I know you have an extension network anyway, but how did pursuing this incentive help you with your network? And then Nita, will come to your question after Chuck.
Well, again, it was just meetings, especially in Australia. And I mean, well, in 2021, I was in 438 clubs, along with about 220 of them with Richard Peck on the, we were his groupies, kind of running around with the international president. That's what he called us, the group of, we were his groupies. But networking, you never can have enough contacts. I mean, I wish Facebook would increase their 5,000 limit, because I have to keep seeing who's dead on my friend list and delete them so there's room to put more people on there. But it's great having those contacts that you've met, especially the ones in the global community. And, because you never know when you're going to need them, and learning from them, even though in Malaysia, they do a 3-hour meeting. Yeah, but that's one thing. I always like, I love making contacts. I love talking to people, and I love helping Toastmasters globally. And that way you learn from them and they learn from you too.
Brilliant, thank you. Speaking of your Malaysian clubs, when I started, it was in Taiwan, and the meetings were 2 hours. So when I finally moved to Texas and y'all have 1-hour meetings, I was like, how do you get anything done? That's not enough time. What are you doing? Neva, you had your hand up and you took it down. Do you have a question?
I do have a question. I have a question for those who may not be familiar. Can you explain to us the submission process? Once you've completed your 9 visits, and when Brandy gets through with the next 3 visits, where does she go to turn in her award submission?
All right, Ernestina, with your computer skills, do you want to take that on? How did we get that done for you?
What?
How did you submit your award?
No, I'm playing. I hit that little key that says click form here, pull for, and I clicked it. I clicked that little, supposedly it's supposed to pop up. I couldn't get it to pop up because I was using my tablet. I did not have a laptop at that time. So like I said, I was challenged. So I tried, and then I got my name in there, but I could not attach the agendas. I mean, I know it's easy. I can do it in email. I don't know why I can't do it on the website. So I couldn't do that. So I tried so many times. I got very frustrated. Is it worth it? No, you know what? So I finally, broke down and said, okay, I'm gonna have to ask for help. So I had to ask the district so they know how stupid I am, that I don't understand it. And so they did help me and they were very kind. Oh, no, we will help you. Don't worry about it. Just send it to me. And of course, Diana Patton, the little blonde angel, and she'll put it on for you. And she did. So that's the only way I got to be second. Otherwise, I probably would have been 8th or 9th down the road. I don't know.
Fantastic, fantastic. Celeste, you did submit yours completely online. How did that go for you? I did put the link for the actual submission website in the chat, but how did it go for you?
Well, I sure didn't use my laptop. I went to my other computer that I understood very well. And it was very easy because I just clicked on the website, found the link, clicked on the link, and I just processed the past where I had it saved on my computer to the website and sent it out and by email.
Brilliant.
That's how I did it.
I'm glad to hear that it was very easy, because we want to make sure that these things are easy for people, and we want to be accessible for when there's stumbling blocks. And so we want to help people with those processes. Because sometimes it happens. Sometimes it works in Excel and not in Firefox or whatever, for example. So, and you can't troubleshoot and fix every problem. So it's always important that we're here and that we're responsive, and so that you can get the credit for the work that you've done. Thank you. Are there any other questions from the floor at this time? Hilda again.
I just thought of one.
Okay.
What if you fill in a role at the last minute? Because this happened to me and I thought, oh, this isn't going to work. And I wasn't on the agenda, but I did fill the role. But they'd already sent out the agenda, and so I didn't get on the role, on their agenda.
Leila, did you have that experience? How did you address it?
Yes, I just took a screenshot. Just to take a screenshot and save it on your desktop or somewhere, and then you can upload it in the website later.
Did anybody do anything else? Celeste?
I sent an email to the person that sent me the email to go to the club, and asked them if they can add me on to the agenda and put me that I did their evaluation or whatever, and that's how they did it for me.
So you just had to send you an updated one.
Yes.
We will take a screenshot. We prefer the agendas because it's just a little bit easier to know what you did, but we will take a screenshot. And so both of those methods will work just fine. The updated agenda, if you can get somebody to do that, because we all love doing agendas the first time. So doing them another time is super awesome too. But if they've already got it once, it shouldn't be that hard for them to add your name to it and email it to you. Anything else, Hilda? Okay. Anything else, anybody from the floor?
Emily, on that same point,
Sure.
When I attended the club meeting in Australia, the evaluator dropped out or the grammarian dropped out at the last minute. And so I just wrote myself in on the agenda, but I also did a screenshot of the meeting showing I was there, and I had a role listed just in case, that, but they'd already had their agenda done. So I just kind of wrote myself in and then did a scan of it. But because they said, oh, can you do this? And I said, sure. I said, I'd be glad to.
Great. We're pretty flexible. We want you to earn the award. So we're not trying to be, super retentive about exactly what you submit to us. We're willing to work with what you got, but you got to have something so we can do that. Divya?
So my question is, do we have a deadline to finish visiting the 9 clubs?
I'll take this one. Yes, we do have a deadline. You need to have finished the visits by June 30th, the end of this Toastmasters year.
Wow. If not, we have to restart again.
Yes.
Okay.
That this is an incentive for this year, so it has to be completed this year. You don't
Okay.
necessarily have to have submitted it by June 30th, but you'd want to have submitted it pretty quickly thereafter so that we can make sure that you get your award by the awards ceremony.
Okay, sounds good. So when is the award ceremony going to be? It's going to be in
August.
August. Well, along with other speaker contests or something like that. The final contest, right?
No,
international
the
con-
final contest will be at the conference. The awards banquet is a big fancy dinner that we have where we get all of our club awards, all of our personal awards, awards for mentoring. They give out the division director of the year, area director of the year. It's a big fancy, specifically, let's celebrate everything we did in the last Toastmasters year, which is why we do it in August, is so that we have July to kind of get all that tabulated and get it all ready, and then we can give it out in August.
Thank you, Emily.
You're
That sounds
welcome.
good.
Well, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I think that we have run through all of the questions from the floor. We've hit the majority of the most important questions that I had, so I'm very excited about this. Thank you very much to our panelists, all 5 of you, not only for all of the hard work that you did to achieve the award, but also for taking the time to be here this evening. Do you have any last comments? We're going to go through, do 1 to 2 minutes for just one last bit of comments. Leela, do you have anything you'd like to leave us with?
Yes. So after visiting 9 different clubs, what I have learned is that learning is always a good thing. And Toastmaster is such a platform. You can refine and redefine yourself. Let me tell you. First, I joined Toastmasters in July 2020 to learn the English language. And when I completed 15 months Toastmasters journey, then my objective has been changed. Now I would like to refine and redefine myself in public speaking and leadership so that I can speak to any new audience or unfamiliar audience and also take any lead on any projects. Back to you.
Thank you, Leela. Sally, what about you? Any final comments?
I would say for anyone who still has this on their radar, you still have time to visit your clubs. This is still possible. This is within reach. You can do it. I am offering anyone who is interested in the Nemelita Award to come and visit us at San Angelo Toastmasters. Reach out to me. Let me know when you have availability in your calendar. I will fit you in. Hilda, our Vice President of Education, who is also in this meeting, we will work together and make sure that you can come and have a role in the next few weeks, in the next few months. You do have time to do this. And remember that networking is reciprocal. We're getting from you and you're getting from us. And then you get to take what you're learning back to your home club. And that's been one of the biggest things that I have seen that has been a tremendous benefit. So thank you, Trio, for coming up with this award and incentive.
You are very welcome. Thank you, Sally. Thank you. Celeste, do you have any final comments?
Yes, this is something new for everybody and it's very interesting. It's like doing helping hands when we had helping hands. And if I could do it, you can all do it. And it's great opportunity for you to learn and visit other people, other clubs, because not all clubs are the same. Thank you.
Thank you. Chuck, what do you have for us?
2 things. Do it for the fun. Do it for the fun of it. I mean, do not think it's a chore or an incentive or what. Do it for the fun. You will not regret it. Now, I will also throw out Colleyville Toastmasters at noon on Fridays, noon to 1 o'clock, strict 1 hour meeting. We're short on people right now because we have a lot of people out, realtors and developers and stuff. Anytime, we always have open roles. Noon on Fridays. If you want to know about it, I mean, it's on our website. The link never changes, but just do it for the fun of it. And then you will have so much fun doing it.
That's true. We're not trying to just make you work. Go out there and meet people and have fun. Ernestina, do you want to finish us off?
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Sure, following Chuck again. Yes, we definitely have fun. And you know, unfortunately, Toastmasters are quirky anyway. You actually go to a meeting to actually talk in front of people. So what's up with that? But yes, I think what I got from the networking was that you find so many young people, so many new Toastmasters, and you're like, oh my gosh, they're starting and they're so good. And they still have a big adventure in front of them. And they're not aware of that. And they kind of hold back. Some of them kind of hold back. And you go, oh my gosh, just go forward. Just take one little step forward. And my gosh, there's a whole new world out there. And I'm very impressed with the young people. They're so knowledgeable. And I'm jealous of their computer skills and their command of speech. They are just talented out there. Okay, I'm old, I'm over 50, but gee whiz, it's nice to know that there's somebody out there that that will take on Toastmasters and really do good for us when they show up and speak and say Toastmasters. They go, oh yeah. So I like that.
Thank you, Ernestina. Again, a big round of applause for all of our panelists. Thank you very much for taking the hour out of your schedule this evening to be here and to speak to all of us. I'm going to put one more time in the chat the link to the actual incentive that explains all of it. It also has the list of the people who have won the incentives. So that's another reason to do it, because then you get your name on the famous website. But also the link for the submission is right there from that website as well. With that, I am out of questions and there were no more questions from the floor, and we are pretty much at 7 o'clock. So I am going to say we are done for the evening. Thank you again. We did record this session. Once it's done doing its digital doohickey thingy magic stuff, we'll put it on our YouTube and email out the link. Everybody have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you to